be covering a few topics. Okay, so basically these are all the nutshells, and I call it journey to becoming an EmGuarde master. Okay, so all you need to do is very simple. This is not rocket science. You don't have to really be an engineer or a scientist to actually learn this. It's pretty straightforward. And we've prepared all this necessary information for you. And if let's say you were just leveraging in this material, and this is a recorded Zoom, we will be putting the link towards the end of the session so that you can revisit the recording training, for your personal learning process. I think you will do fine in this project. Okay, now let's begin with the first topic of today, which is the EmGuarde history. So talking about history, now EmGuarde is not something new. It is not a new technology which came just last month. No, okay? Now, for the matter of fact, EmGuarde, the research and development begins since 2009. So we're looking into 14 years of hard work, okay? And the 5 gentlemen standing in front of your screen here, they are the developer of this technology. Starting from the guy from the left, Mr. Lau. Now, if you notice, right, all of these gentlemen here on the screen, they have got one similar trait. They were all from Panasonic, which is one of the most reputable Japanese company in the world, dealing with all these appliances, okay, electronic appliances. So Lau, it's actually the inventor you're looking into. And of course, in his team, he's got a few researchers and engineers together, Mr. Yen, former Panasonic QA AGM, and of course, Mr. Teo, former Panasonic Design Development AGM, 33 years of experience, okay, in Panasonic. And of course, Mr. Poon, which is one of the most important men in this chart. He's the former Panasonic factory director in charge of new production engineering, production engineering, and plant engineering. Okay, 33 years of experience. And Mr. Chang as well, 25 years in Panasonic. So why Energic is actually taking up this technology segment and market it through Energic system is because of their credentials as well, because they are all from the big giant Panasonic company. Okay, now moreover, it's not so much about them, but it's about the technology that they built in the past 14 years. So the second topic today to discuss further is how it works. So how does EmGuarde works as a technology? Now, we are not trying to be technical over here in this training, so let's use simpler words so that when you go back to your marketplace, you can actually use whatever we share with you in this training to your customers. So we've created simple animations for you. Okay, so basically this is to show you that in our daily life, you're using gadgets like this, handphones, your laptops, your hairdryer. Okay, now when you put an EmGuarde within your living area, this is what it does. First of all, you will see a 4-meter arrow going across. It's left and right. Okay, 4 meters. So we're talking about 4-meter radius or 4 meter or 8 meter in diameter in total. Okay, so 4 meter is radius and 8 meter, it's the total diameter of the coverage area. Okay, now this is a simple explanation of how it works. EmGuarde utilizes harmonic frequencies to effectively suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation between, now this is the bandwidth given, 3 megahertz to 1000. Okay, so in the frequency spectrum, there are lots of different frequencies we're talking about, and 3 megahertz to 1000 actually falls under the high frequency spectrum. So these are some of the keywords, okay? High frequency designation, and the word here that we're looking into, if you can look at my cursor, is the word suppress and the word targeted. So this is very important, all right? Within a 4-meter radius, this harmonizing method achieves a balanced atmosphere while preserving the natural ambient frequency. Okay, in simpler manner, when you turn on the EmGuarde, you can still use your electronic gadgets like your phone. Okay, it doesn't disturb your phone signal, and it does not disturb any electric or magnetic field from your power line. Okay, in fact, it is actually harmonizing something which we call as the byproduct of this radiation. So electromagnetic noise radiation is actually the byproduct from your electric field radiation, and also it is also a byproduct from the signal radiation generated from your phone. Okay. So in a nutshell, a lot of people ask, okay, so what is this black box technology? It's a black box, what's inside? And to put it in a simpler manner, this is the simplest I can go, all right? It's how it looks like inside. And of course, it's powered by a Type-C connector. We got two huge solenoid to channel the harmonic frequency across 4-meter radius, okay? And you have the white LED indicator to show you that the product is working. Now, looking into this simple design of this technology, it is very simple, but the most valuable thing is actually hidden in the core technology processor. If you can follow my cursor here, the core technology processor, it's the reason which makes this technology unique, okay? Because it took these engineers years and years of research on how to program multiple layering of harmonics to suppress, all this unwanted noise radiation around you, okay? Now, so let me go into a more detailed explanation on how it works, and you can use all this for your marketing slides and your presentation slides in the future, okay? Now, first, EmGuarde utilizes harmonic frequencies to effectively suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation between 3 megahertz to 1000 megahertz within a 4-meter radius, all right? Now, the second point is the multiple layering of harmonics frequencies is strategically programmed to target specific frequencies at 36 megahertz, 72, 108, 144, 180, and more. Now, to do a simple math calculation, all you need to do is to add on 36 to each number, and you will get this targeted harmonics. So the next number to 180, it's 216, followed by 255. So you do your math all the way up to 1000 megahertz. So these are all the targeted range that it actually suppresses. Okay, now when you talk about multi-layering, just in case your customer is asking you, so what is this multiple layering? What sort of layering do they apply to these harmonics frequencies? Now, simple answer is this is part of the trade secret, and I believe the developer would not expose this, okay, to protect this technology as it is, and also to prevent competitors from coming with the same technology. So the good news is currently this technology EmGuarde with Energic is the one and only kind which can do what it claims, okay, based on this training material. So currently we are, I would say, the only product which can do this, and there is no competition that we know of yet. So this is good news for the distributor, meaning you're marketing something unique and sophisticated, and there is no competition, okay? Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how it works 4-meter radius in a more technical and scientific way. So in this video, you're actually seeing, that there is this scientific app where we use to detect the noise radiation from an LED light bulb. And upon turning EmGuarde 4 meters away from the test equipment, you can actually see how the suppression works. Let's play the video. All right, so in this section of the video, I'm going to show you how EmGuarde has the ability to alleviate the radiation from this LED light bulb 4 meters away from this antenna. Okay, so now, first of all, I'd like you to see the screen. From the software itself, everything is clear before I turn on the LED. Now, as soon as I turn on the LED, as you can see, you can actually see that the noise field from the EM radiation comes back, and it's actually showing in this blue curvy line. Okay, so now I'm going to invite my team to take this EmGuarde away from me for about 4 meters, okay, in radius. Okay, now I'm going to invite my team to power on the EmGuarde. Just plug the USB-C, leave it on the table. Now, as soon as the EmGuarde's on, as you can see, the frequency spectrum from the SDR software has been cleared away. Okay, now as soon as I unpower the EmGuarde, please remove the power line from the EmGuarde, just unplug. Wait for about 2 to 3 seconds. The radiation from the LED comes back immediately. Now let's do another control test by powering up the EmGuarde again. Please put the USB-C power cable into the EmGuarde. There you go. And immediately, as you can see, everything is cleared away. And this is to show you that EmGuarde works effectively 4 meters away from this antenna. okay, for the new people here, you can actually utilize in videos like this to do your explanation or your personal inner group training. And it's pretty hard for you to repeat whatever you see from the video, because this equipment, it takes a bit of knowledge and skills and time to set up, because it's a scientific equipment. Okay, so these are all the marketing resources we have for you, and you can use it. You can utilize this video. And for your information, after today's training, we'll be uploading all these slides, including the videos in the slides as well together, so they can download it for your personal reference. Okay, now next topic number 3 out of 9. Okay, we are almost there, almost halfway through. Now, the benefits of EmGuarde. Now, first of all, before I proceed, EmGuarde is not classified as a medical device. Okay, so for information, we are not a medical device, and this product is actually designed and marketed for general use, especially aimed at creating a balanced and harmonious environment by suppressing electromagnetic noise radiation within a specified frequency range. Okay, so let me just do a quick disclaimer. This is not a medical device, but one of the most powerful benefits that this technology is able to give it to your clients is this. This patented technology achieves a balanced atmosphere and harmonious environment by suppressing targeted electromagnetic noise radiation disturbances. At the same time, can effectively also suppress the negative effects of electromagnetic radiation affecting the microcirculation blood flow. Okay, so this is actually part of the patent, and slowing down the microcirculation blood flow is actually one of the negative effects from exposing to radiation. Okay, and when you turn on the EmGuarde, based on the patent, based on some of the clinical trial tested by doctors worldwide, it is able to do that. Okay, but we are not claiming that this is a medical device. So I just want to make it clear. Okay, now the link below here is actually a link where you can join in the Telegram group. And over here, we've got a lot of customers sharing their experiences on what happened to them, what are their positive response after using this technology for months. Okay, because it's been launched in Malaysia since last May. All right, so this is actually the benefit of using the EmGuarde technology. So if you want to hear more testimonials, please join the upcoming Wednesday night demo, because over there you'll be seeing some videos recording on people, how they actually share the experiences after using this product. Okay, now point number 4. Okay, now laboratory and compliance certification. So I think documentation beats conversation. This is very important. Okay, so these are all the credentials that the developer, which is the 5 Panasonic engineers, built over the years. So just to show it to you, now the first one, it's back in 2017. They won a Invention Competition Award in Taiwan for being able to create a device where it can speed up microcirculation blood flow over a certain distance. Now, in this case, we're talking about 4-meter radius. Okay, now point number 2, they submit this into USM. USM is one of the institution in Malaysia. We call it University Science of Malaysia. Okay, so they submit in and they do some testing on lab rats on how this device can help the animal, okay, to regain the microcirculation blood flow upon having these influences from the radiation as well. Okay, now not to mention, back in 2020, they submit this technology to one of the ophthalmology in Taiwan, and the main test is to test the eyeball microcirculation blood flow, and they got very positive results on this as well. Okay, so all these informations will be given to you soon and sooner in the EmGuarde library. We'll be uploading all this into the library. Okay, and of course, this technology obtained its patent, and it's approved back in 2022, which is 2 years ago, in MyIPO, intellectual property as well. And you can get the patent number from the emguarde.com official website. Okay, not to mention 5 and 6, these 2 SGS is actually a world-renowned compliance testing laboratory, and they both certified EmGuarde as CE approved for European market, and of course FCC is actually the American standard, for compliance testing. And last but not least, this is the latest addition to the EmGuarde family, which is another testing from USM. And in this test, it says that it can the effective range of the radio frequency white noise suppression, and also it's actually testing the harmonizer's effective range of coverage. Okay, so when you use this, you can rest assured that this product can actually be still in function at certain range, even without any testing gadget. So it's a guaranteed range. okay, by this laboratory. Now, let's go through some details here. So this is actually the latest edition in the EmGuarde test report, okay, tested by one of the Science Institute in Malaysia. And the title, as you can see here, is the effective range, of white noise suppression of electromagnetic noise radiation harmonizer, okay? So these are the data here. I'm not going to go through today because it's pretty scientific. It's talking about, okay, over here, as you can see the cursor here. So it's actually talking about, the meter. These are actually there you go. These are the ranges: 4-meter radius, 5-meter radius, and 6-meter radius. So this is how far can the EmGuarde cover it. Okay, so all this testing is based on at least up to 6 meter in radius, and in diameter, we are talking about 12 meter in diameter. So it's quite a big area, okay, in terms of coverage area. And over here in the environment, as you can see on the left-hand side, they are testing on residential space, which is where you live. 3 of the samples here, working office, because this product can be used not just at home, but you can actually install it back in the office. And of course, being an institution of science, they are also doing testing in laboratory setting, because laboratory got a lot of radiation equipments and all that, okay? So these are some of the settings, from the lab reports and all that. And this is also one of the very scientific settings. Now let's take a look at the conclusion. So the conclusion is the EmGuarde electromagnetic noise radiation harmonizer successfully alleviate unwanted electromagnetic noise wave between 71 megahertz and 73. Later on, I'll touch more on why are they testing the frequency span between 71 to 73. It's got something to do with your brain, okay? In all testing environment until it's 6-meter coverage. Now, in this case, 6 meter means radius. Okay, I would like to make clear, 6 meter means radius. In diameter, in total, it's 12-meter diameter. All right, tested and certified by Dr. Yam. Now, by the way, Dr. Yam is actually a 4 PhD holder, and he's also a pretty famous senior lecturer back in this institution. Okay, you can research about him. Just Google Dr. Yam Manfai. His credentials will pop up. Okay. Now, next. So talking about quality assurance and also is it safe for public use and all that, SGS said it all. So SGS is basically a world top 5 testing laboratory for electronics and electrical appliances. It is originally from Switzerland, and they branch out to like Taiwan, Singapore. You can do the test because they've got branches around the world. Okay, even in Malaysia as well. So EmGuarde has obtained this testing. It's like the Gold Seal Award, okay, for this category. And we obtained both CE and FCC. And as you can see, they have images on how they actually put EmGuarde into tests so that it is actually safe for public use. All right. So these are all the images, and there you go. So yeah, it's been going through a series of testings, different setups to make sure that it works and it is safe for public use. Okay, so I'll allow you to go through these pictures, during your personal learning curve. Now, topic number 5. All right. Now, in this topic, I'm covering mastering the common FAQ, because in marketing and in sales, I think being able to answer the common FAQs is pretty important. Okay. So in this case, actually, we've got more than 15 FAQs, but the common ones and the easier ones, we already listed it down in the emguarde.com website so that we can cut the chase. We can go straight to the most important FAQs. And over here, I believe I've designed the 3 most common and most important FAQs for you to learn on how to counter or tackle this question. So the first question is this: when EmGuarde is activated, does it mean that there is no radiation in the environment? This is very important because they know that EmGuarde is an environment harmonizer. Some people call it anti-radiation. I wouldn't call it anti-radiation because anti-radiation sounds really serious. And I think in certain jurisdictions or countries, you cannot use words like this. Okay, there's a reason why we call it environment harmonizer for a reason. Okay, so getting back to this question, all right, does it mean there's no radiation in the environment? Now, to give you guys in a simple perspective, when we live in an environment full of gadgets and electrical appliances, you're going to experience these 3 types of electromagnetic energy. Or in other words, they call it electromagnetic radiation energy. Okay, so these are the 3 common types of energies that we will be getting. Now, the first one is called electromagnetic field. Okay, so as soon as you turn on your electronic or electrical appliances, whether you like it or not, the electric field and the magnetic field will then radiate from the power lines and also from your gadgets. Okay. Now, the second energy we are talking here is called signal strength. And usually this is referring to gadgets where they have antennas, like your Wi-Fi router, your phone instead. Okay, so these are all signal strength generating devices. And last but not least, we are talking about electromagnetic noise, okay, radiation. Now, the pictures on the following slide will give you a better perspective. All right, so if you look at this one, the first one, which is air conditioned. Okay, this is air conditioned. And on the bottom, it's the microwaves and also the induction cooker. Now, when you turn on these electrical appliances, it's going to radiate the first energy. We call it electromagnetic field. And there are radiation testers out there who can actually identify the energies for this particular radiation. Okay. Now, at the same time, this electromagnetic field is going to generate the byproduct from the power line, and we call it the electromagnetic noise or electromagnetic interference energy. It's coming from the power line. Okay. So all of this equipment contains two types of energy. One is the electric field and the magnetic field coming from the current. And the second byproduct, it's called electromagnetic noise radiation or electromagnetic interference, coming from all the components built in the PCB board and integrated circuit boards. All right, now next example. Now in the next example, now we are discussing about signal generating devices. So these devices, either they transmit or they receive signals, okay, like your desktop, computer, laptops, and phones, and Wi-Fi router. So when you turn on all these devices, first of all, it's going to generate the first energy, which is electromagnetic field from the power line. Okay. Now, followed by the second energy coming from the antenna. We call it the signal strength or the signal radiation. Okay. So all those are actually the measurement units. We are talking about the volts per meter square or the millivolts or the milliwatts per centimeter square. Okay. Now, and at the same time, this signal and electromagnetic field is going to generate the byproducts of radiation, and we call it the electromagnetic noise radiation or interference. Okay, so this actually differentiates, the three types of energy. And please allow me to re-emphasize this. The EmGuarde is addressing the one in red color, which is electromagnetic noise radiation. It will not disturb the electromagnetic field, because the power line is still there, there's still electricity, there's still current, and it will not disturb the signal because it's illegal to actually jam any communication signals, for your information. Okay, so we are addressing the red one, which is the electromagnetic noise radiation. So to get back to this first FAQ, when you turn on the EmGuarde, does it remove all the radiation around you? The answer is no. Okay, because EmGuarde only addresses targeted electromagnetic noise radiation, which is the red one, but the radiation from the electric field and the signal strength, it's still there. It will be there around you when you turn on the EmGuarde. Okay, all good? So these are the common mistakes made by distributors when they do their marketing pitch. And today I'm going to use this opportunity to correct or to share with you some of the more appropriate word to use. Okay, number one, EmGuarde can eliminate all types of radiation, including radiation from nuclear factory. We have seen salesmen talking about this, and I think some of the salesmen, they are trying to be too, I would say, dramatic here when it comes to this topic. So these are the answers. So it's self-taught, you can just read it. All right, so this is the correct answer to explain how it works. Don't worry if, let's say, you're missing all this point, because it's recorded and it will be given to you as well, which is the marketing slides. You can read it later. Okay, so this is the correct explanation on how it works. Now, next. So EmGuarde can eliminate 100% of radiation from mobile phones. All right. So the correct explanation would be this. Okay, it is built to suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation, and EmGuarde is not built to eliminate or jam mobile phone telecommunication signals. Therefore, when we activate the EmGuarde, the mobile phone radiation comes from their communication signal still exists. Okay, we're addressing something which is the byproduct of the signal. So this is the third commonly seen mistakes done by the salesman. So they talk that, okay, when you turn on an EmGuarde, they can actually address all the radiations from the power lines and high tension towers. So this is actually the correct response. Okay, so there's no way that we can eliminate all radiations from power line unless we terminate the power source, which is you switch off the power box or you switch off the switch. Okay, so there's no way to do that. So instead, EmGuarde is suppressing targeted electromagnetic, which is a byproduct from the power line. Okay, now next. So the last one, I think this is to address on the non-ionizing radiation spectrum. Okay, so this is actually the correct explanation. All right, the correct explanation. So now talking about this non-ionizing right now, to put you in perspective, I've got an image to show you. So it's simpler to okay. All right. So now if you can follow my cursor here, this is actually the documents that I'm going to show you. This is the facts. Now, non-ionizing radiation stretches from 0 Hertz all the way to the range of terahertz. Okay. So if you notice, EmGuarde is addressing frequencies between 3 to 1000. And 1000 is way below the range of terahertz because now we are talking about megahertz. Okay. So in this fact, we are telling you that when you turn on EmGuarde, we are not addressing all the radiations along the entire non-ionizing radiation spectrum. Okay, it is at a very specific range, good enough for you to see improvement on the negative effects of the radiation. And last but not least, this is actually some of the words used when they design their marketing materials or the websites or the PowerPoints. So they use words like elimination, they use words like cutting, destroying, absorbing. So the correct word is suppresses. Okay, so EmGuarde suppresses targeted electromagnetic noise radiation. So instead of using all the cut, reflect, absorb, you use the word like suppress. Okay, so this is the correct manner to present the EmGuarde technology. Okay, now we're going to take a quick break, maybe 2 minutes for a quick water break. For some people who wants to go to the toilet and for some people who wants to drink some Kangen water, let's do a quick 2-minute break and we'll come back and we'll resume the training in 2 minutes. So earlier on, I was talking about the frequency spectrum. So we managed to put the pictures back to the slides and let me share with you what I mean. Okay, so for those people who miss out, I think the question here is that when people talk about can EmGuarde, reduce or harmonize radiation from the entire non-ionizing spectrum. So the non-ionizing spectrum actually stretches, all the way from extremely low frequency to the left, ELF all the way to ultraviolet, in this case. Okay, and if you look at the cursor, the targeted suppression of electromagnetic noise happens between 3 megahertz, which is somewhere over here, all the way to about 1 gigahertz of span. So this is actually the range that we are addressing. So later on, another common question is why are we addressing the frequency range around this? Okay, it's also one of the most commonly asked questions as well. We'll be addressing that on the upcoming slides. Okay, so out of this spectrum, the other radiation spectrum, which is beyond 1 gigahertz, this is where we don't touch. Okay, these are not the span that we are addressing. Okay, so I hope I make myself clear. All right. So now the second commonly asked question is people will ask, why are we using this marketing tool? And by the way, you can actually buy this marketing tool from Energic. And why are we using this marketing tool, the RD9300, instead of the other detectors in the market? The answer is very simple. Earlier on, I was showing you, the 3 bubble, the black bubble energy from electric field, the blue bubble energy from signal strength, and also the red bubble energy from the electromagnetic noise. So in the market, there's a lot of detectors which measure the black bubble, which is the electric field, okay? And certain detectors out there, they're actually measuring the blue bubble, which is the signal bubble. And for this particular marketing tool that we use, which is 9300, this detector is built to detect high frequency electromagnetic noise radiation in power density. Okay, so I've actually prepared a video for you. And in this video, we're actually showing you on all the different detectors and how and what does it measure. So after this video, I think all of you will get more clarity about the different detectors available in the market and why are we selecting the 9300 as one of our demo tools. Okay, so in this section of the video, I'm going to show you the differentiation from different detectors available in the market and why some of these detectors you should avoid it while you're using it to do the EmGuarde demo. Now, cheaper detectors like this, it says electromagnetic radiation detector, but when you hook this emitter on, you can't even detect the radiation from a phone screen. So this doesn't work because this detector is only used to measure very low frequency radiation from the power socket. Okay, now another type of detector available in the market, electromagnetic field tester. Now this detector, we found out that this detector is only good at reading the signal coming in from the 4G or the Wi-Fi. Let me show you what I mean. Let me activate the meter here, and I want to put this meter below the iPhone. Okay, now as soon as I call up a program from the iPhone, for example, I'm going to turn on the YouTube channel. There you go. So now the detector is actually responding to the data received from the YouTube itself. Now, as soon as I turn this phone into the airplane mode, so I'm going to terminate the Wi-Fi and also the mobile data. Okay, so immediately when I turn it to the airplane mode, as you can see, you no longer receive any response from this detector. Okay, now however, as soon as I switch off the airplane mode and the data is back, the detector began to respond again to the signal from the phone. Now, why I strongly recommended RD9100 is because now even if I turn the phone into the airplane mode, means there is no data, there is no Wi-Fi, the RD has the ability to pick up the radiation from the phone itself, and now it's averaging at about 1,400 microwatts to about 1,500 microwatts. Okay, so in other words, RD9100 is not picking up any signal. Instead, RD9100 is actually picking up the power density radiation coming from the battery, okay, operated in the phone itself. Now, let me show you another detector in the market. This detector is what we bought from the USA and it's called the cell sensor. And supposedly this detector is able to pick up radiation from the cell phone. Okay, but now as soon as I hook up this meter, as you can see, okay, let me just put the meter on the table. Now, the phone is on airplane mode. As you can see, it's also picking up reading from the screen itself. Okay, now, but the thing is, we found that this detector is actually picking up and responding or reacting towards the metal part of the phone. Now, I'm going to turn off the phone. Okay, let me switch off the phone now. And let me show you what I mean. Now, as soon as the phone is switched off, if I use the regular RD, once the integrated circuit is completely shut down, the RD will get zero reading because there is no more radiation source coming from this phone. Okay, because it's properly shut off and there is no power in the circuit itself. So everything goes back to zero. Okay, there you go. Alright, now, but for this detector itself, although the phone's already been shut off, you can still pick up reading from the phone itself. Now, the reason being is because detectors like this, they're actually picking up and sensing the metal parts from the handphone. For example, now in this handphone cover, there is one metal piece over here. As long as I put this into the metal, the detector is reacting against the metal but not the radiation. Okay? Alright. Okay, so to put it into a very simple perspective, this radiation detector that we select here is actually measuring the power density from the noise, the radiation, rather than the electric field or signal strength. Okay, so that differentiates the detector against the other detectors from now. So this summary is to show you that from the video itself, so this is the detector that measures the electric field that we are talking about, the first one. And the second one, the one in white color, is measuring the signal strength from the phone antenna. The reason why when we call out programs like YouTube's and all that, you are getting response, okay? But as soon as I turn the phone into airplane mode, you're not getting any responses because it's only purely measuring the data or signal strength coming from the antenna. And of course, the third one is to measure the metal or other parts, because basically when you put it on the metal, it triggers the detector itself. Okay, so it's unknown. And of course, the last one, the radiation detector, it's either 100 or 300 is actually the latest model. And 100 has been discounted, it's the old model, in fact. Okay, so this particular detector is built to measure electromagnetic noise radiation. Okay, so these are the different categories. So in case, in the future, when you're doing this business, you'll be getting your downlines or your customers asking, how come we cannot get the other detectors from the market, and how come we need to get this specific detector? Because this specific detector is built for the EmGuarde demo. Okay, it is this unique detector, and because this technology is innovative, we need a unique tool to show you the energy that this detector is capturing, and you can't find it anywhere else in the market, because in the market, the common detectors out there is either measuring the electric field or the signal strength from the antenna. That's it. All right, so this is unique. All right. So facts on the 9300 demo tool. So this is a very important message to all demonstrators out there. Now, let me read out for you, and so that it's recorded so that you can be more clear to you. Okay. So the RD9300 is designed as a marketing tool to demonstrate EmGuarde's suppression of targeted electromagnetic noise within the 3 MHz to 1000 frequency range, effectively showcasing EmGuarde's ability to create a protective zone within the 4-meter radius. Okay, so now when you do the demo, this detector is going to turn into 0 when you switch on the EmGuarde. Okay, so when used within an active EmGuarde coverage, the detector may indicate 0 reading, symbolizing the reduction or suppression of targeted electromagnetic noise. However, it is vital to understand that this 0 reading from the detector does not imply the elimination of all forms of radiation, okay, across the spectrum, which is what has been shown to you before this topic. Okay, so we are not actually addressing the radiation from across the spectrum, but to be more specific, it's actually within the 3 MHz to 1000 MHz frequency range. Okay, so again, it does not imply that elimination of all forms of electromagnetic radiation across the spectrum, but rather illustrate EmGuarde's targeted radiation suppression capabilities is in function. All right, so I would like to make this clear. So in the future, when you do the demo and my customer asks, hey, the detector goes 0, does it mean that there is no more radiation in my environment? So the correct answer is, all right, this is the answer, okay, for your upcoming demonstration marketing pitch. Okay, I will leave it to you because it's on the slides so that you can go over and over. I know it's a lot of words here, so that you can go through one by one during your personal learning sessions. Okay. Okay. Now, this is the third and also one of the most important FAQs that we encounter. And today, in this training, we're going to educate and also share with you how are we countering this question. Why EmGuarde only harmonizes targeted frequencies between 3 to 1000? What about those frequencies beyond 1000 or below 3 MHz? Okay. Now, to respond to this, very simple, I'm going to pull out some documents to show you. Okay. Now, this bulletin is written by the FCC, and FCC is actually one of the government body in the US. Okay, it's the Federal Communication Commission in the US. And in this bulletin, in one of the abstract, it actually states here that, the human body absorbs radio frequency energy at some frequencies more efficiently than at others. Okay, now the keyword is the human body, which is us. Okay, we absorb the radio frequency energy at some frequencies more effectively. And in this case, they are indicating that, the most restrictive limits occur in the frequency range between 30 to 300 MHz, where whole body absorption of RF energy is being most efficient. So today we are talking about a range of 30 to 300 MHz. And this is actually within the targeted range that EmGuarde is focusing on. Remember earlier on, I was telling you that EmGuarde is actually focusing on suppressing targeted frequencies between 3 to 1000. So happen that 30 and 300 is actually within the 3 to 1000 range. Okay, now it makes more sense. Okay, now next. And this is another article posted by WHO, okay, many years back. And over here, they are talking about the resonance range, okay, the highlighted words, okay, the resonance range extending from 30 to about 300 megahertz for whole body absorption. So they're talking about body resonance range, okay? So not just from FCC, WHO is also addressing this frequency range in one of their articles as well, okay? Now, let me give you more clarity. Why 30 to 300 megahertz is considered as one of the most wanted to resolve frequencies, okay, in this spectrum. So according to our research, very simple. If you pull out this is actually the frequencies of the aggregate human body organs. And looking into this, we are looking at the normal brain frequencies, which is operating between 72 to 90, but the normal brain frequency is actually at 72. So 72 is actually one of the most important frequencies to be remembered, okay, in this training. Later on, I will show you why we focus on 72. Because 72 is actually one of the targeted suppression frequencies selected by the developers of the EmGuarde. All right. And not to mention, these are the other frequencies. So if you notice, right, all these aggregate body organ frequencies is actually between 30 to 300 megahertz. They falls under this category because this is actually your organ's operational frequency. And through resonance theory, when there is a similar frequencies around this frequencies vibrates within your living space, it's going to affect you based on resonance theory. Okay, so I think a video paints 1,000 words. Now this video is going to showcase you where this science teacher is going to hit this tuning fork. And as you notice, the left tuning fork is at 512 hertz, whereas the right tuning fork, where two ping pong balls dangling down, okay, now this tuning fork is set at 440 hertz. So when this science teacher is going to hit a tuning fork of a different frequency, it's not going to affect the 440 unless you change it to a similar frequency tuning fork. Let's watch the video. Okay, so I hope that in this simple explanation on tuning forks, now you get to understand that this is how resonance works. Okay, when you hit the tuning fork of the same frequency, it's going to vibrate the other tuning fork even without you touching it. Okay, so one of the EmGuarde's harmonics frequency is set at 72 for a particular reason. Now in this upcoming video, you get to see that this is actually a real living environment. It's actually a kitchen. And I managed to capture one of the electromagnetic noise pollution, and the frequency span is actually between 72 to about 73 megahertz. So watch this video closely and see how the EmGuarde technology is able to address one of the most important frequency of today. Guys, this is something pretty shocking. We rented this Airbnb and I started to experience this unexplainable headache whenever I go near to the kitchen and prepare the food. So what happened was, we got this gadget here. So remember, I always say that, you know, our human body organs aggregate frequency is around 55 to 90. And we found that 72 is actually the brain frequency. So I'm going to hook up the software here to identify what causes my headache, because 72 is actually the frequency of your brain. So over here in this setting, we got two LED lights, one above us. Another one is actually the small one over here. The switches are over there. Okay, the switches are over there. So let me turn on the first switch of the LED, and I want you to see the noise spectrum from the LED lights. The first light. As I turn on the first LED light, as you can see, the noise spectrum came in at 72 megahertz, and the flux itself stretches from 72 all the way to about 72.3. and all the way down to about 73 megahertz. Okay, this is the first LED. And if I turn on the second LED above my head, which is the top one, I want you to see that the noise field spectrum actually goes into a darker color. Okay, so let me show you the LED. This is the first one. Okay, this is the first LED, and I got my antenna right above, and the second LED is actually above my head. And as you can see, the spectrum here, the noise became darker and darker. So what happens is that I pull out my EmGuarde and I just put my EmGuarde next to the kitchen. And I want you to see what happens when I turn on my EmGuarde. After I hook on my EmGuarde, and immediately the headache just went away. Alright, so what happens when I turn off my EmGuarde again? I'll just want you to see the contrast. Switch off the EmGuarde again. And when my EmGuarde is off, immediately the noise wave from 72 MHz came back. And this explains why I'm getting this unexplainable headache, because 72 is actually resonating with my brain frequency. And that's why I'm getting this headache. Let me just turn back on the EmGuarde. Okay, so it's pretty amazing. So thanks, Enagic. Thank you so much. I think this is a pretty straightforward video. And in this video, we are here to showcase to you that, by using that specific tool, which is the same tool that they use in the laboratory testing back in USM, it's actually the same gadget. So it actually managed to showcase how it actually suppresses targeted noise radiation, okay, from the environment itself. Now, topic number 6 is talking about mastering the demo tools. I mean, in Kangen water business, we need to master the Kangen demonstration, okay, in order for us to make more sales or to communicate the value to your customers. So in this EmGuarde business, it's the same thing. We are here to master the demo tools as well. So the first demo tool I have for you here is this. All right, the RTL SDR setup. Okay, now this one is a third-party gadget where you have to download a specific app using an Android phone. And what you see on screen here is actually the hardware. Okay, it's the same setup I did in the 72 MHz video. So over here, you get to see a step-by-step guideline on how to set up, how do you install the software in the phone, and how do you operate the software as well. Okay, now, in the near future, we're going to design one video where it's going to teach you on how to get the software, how you install it step by step. So it's going to be uploaded in the EmGuarde library as well for future duplication purposes. Okay, but for these training purposes, this is actually the steps. And this software is pretty amazing because it's third party, and you get to see how the EmGuarde actually suppresses the unwanted noise radiation around you. Now, the next video I'm going to show you is pretty interesting. Okay, I got one of the Enagic top distributor here. Okay, we were in Hong Kong, in fact, doing the EmGuarde launching, and we shockingly found out that the environment in the hotel room, it's actually pretty intense. We can just feel it. So immediately when we hooked up this demo tool, which is the SDR software, this is what we found out. And I would like to share with you this short video in Hong Kong. Let's watch the video.
So I want you guys to see. Just zoom in on the phone, Ben. You can just take a look at this.
I don't know if you guys can hear it. So the software is connected to a dongle that connects to an antenna. And the antenna is receiving the interference around this room. It's unbelievable. Take a look at the chart. It is crazy. Absolutely crazy. We have not seen this anywhere else. Okay? So now what we want to find out is, if we have the EmGuarde, what can it do to us and what can it do for us? So it's not connected. Now, I'm going to put next to the SDR software. I'm going to turn it on in 3, 2, 1. Look at the wave spectrum. It's gone down. I'm going to unplug the EmGuarde. All right. Take a look at the suppression, guys. Here, take a look at the suppression. Boom. With the EmGuarde turned on.
Okay, so this is to showcase you one of the third-party software where we can use to conduct the demonstration if you are properly tuned to the harmonics frequencies as provided by the developer. Okay. Okay, now this next marketing demo tool, it's a more simpler demo tool. We call it the Radiation Detector 9300. Now, this tool is basically a layman tool where it is easier for the marketers to go out there and show in terms of radiation and where does it come from, because this tool is actually directional. Now, when you hold this tool, if you notice there's a donut ring above the tool here. Can I have the tool, please? Do you have the sample? Just plug it. And quickly, I'll just show it to you so that if we make clearer. Okay, so this tool is very unique. And why we call it a simple marketing tool? Because this tool is built to detect specific power density, noise radiation power density directionally. Meaning, if let's say you point this circle towards the phone like this, within a 1 to 2 centimeter range like this, okay, it is able to pick up the power density. If you point it at this direction, okay, 1 to 2 centimeter range. So when you point it with this direction, it's not going to pick up anything because it's different direction. Okay, the radiation source have to go through this circle, and this is the correct direction to pick up the power density. Okay, so it's directional, so you can do this, up, below, left, and right. So it's directional. So this is the first thing. Now going back to the slide, because this tool, it's a very sensitive item, and over here it's built by a lot of copper coil. Okay, so the proper way to hold the detector, it's as described on the screen. You need to hold it like this. You don't touch the ring and all that, because we human body, we collect statics, and over time, if let's say we hold it wrongly, you might be getting the wrong readings as well. So this is actually one of the correct way to master the demo tool, is to hold it correctly, the body like this, just hold like this. Okay, so this is how we actually hold it. And these are some of the technical specs on how you are going to maintain it so that you can preserve the lifespan of this detector. Okay, you can read it, it's self-explanatory. So there is a silica gel inside the new detector box to prevent humidity to get in, because it will oxidize the copper ring. And this is the temperature to keep. It's not waterproof, so make sure that you don't do demo under the rain. Okay, and replace the battery when the icon appears. And it's using the regular 9-volt battery. Do not use alkaline 9-volt battery. Okay, this is an important note, because alkaline 9-volt battery has got too strong of a current and it might damage this equipment. So just use the regular heavy-duty 9-volt battery. Okay, and the 9-volt battery looks like this. It's the squarish 9-volt battery. Okay, this is the standard 9-volt battery, like this. This is the square battery. All right. Okay. Now, mastering the demo tool, this is also one of the topics that we need to discuss. Because this detector itself, it's full of copper coil over here. And this tool can be easily affected by electric static as well. So sometimes during the demonstration, when you show the demonstration and when the EmGuarde's on, this detector might be able to pick up certain, false reading as well. So let me just go on to this slide to show you. Okay, depending on the construction of material and design, the static electricity can also affect other components, especially semiconductor that are often quite sensitive, and such event can lead to false reading as well. So for those people who have really been in the business for some time, so sometimes during your demonstration, when you do demo with your EmGuarde and also with this marketing tool, sometimes within the 4-meter range, this detector might be picking up readings due to static electricity. Okay, so by all means, do not be afraid, because this is just one of the natural phenomena, and this is one of the facts that you can't avoid. Okay, so always go back to the certifications. Remember earlier on, I was sharing with you one of the USM certificates that verifies the EmGuarde's coverage range all the way up to 6-meter radius. So you can go back to that to ensure your customer that it's working fine, and when it beeps, it's actually due to static electricity issues. Now, to put you into a simpler perspective, I also design and create this video, and this video is also self-explanatory. So let me play the video so that you know how static actually affects this sensitive equipment.
Hi guys, so in this video, we will be explaining how static affects sensitive equipment like the Audi. So now, I'm going to use the Audi to scan the phone, as you can see. So it's picking up radiation reading. But as soon as I turn on the EmGuarde, as you can see, the white LED light is on. So the radiation is gone, okay? So I'm going to move all the way back just to show you that EmGuarde can actually cover up to that range, okay? It's further away from the table. So what we are going to do next is we're going to turn on the static ball. And as soon as I turn on the static ball, I'm going to show you that, the static, it's able to trigger the Audi to beep. Okay, so once I scan the phone and I go near to the static ball, the RD9100 begins to beep again, although it is within the coverage range of the EmGuarde. Okay, it's very near, it's less than 1 meter. But as soon as I move away from the static ball, as you can see, the radiation detector stops beeping because EmGuarde still function. It's just that whenever we go near to a static area, the RD9100 will get affected by the static and it begins to beep again. Okay, so now I'm going to turn off the static ball. So now the area is without electrostatic, as you can see. And as I scan the phone again, there is no beeping. So during your demonstration, don't get panicked. Whenever there is a beeping sound here and there, it is actually due to electrostatic, but your EmGuarde is still working fine.
Okay, so in this case, sometimes the static comes from either your clothes, okay, because sometimes some of this fabric accumulates static as well. So some static environment comes from even the flooring, you know, the floor that you're stepping on and all that. So you might be able to pick up some static and it might be, you know, disturbing when you do demonstration, but it's okay because this is part of the facts, okay? Now, point number 7, mastering the EmGuarde installation. So this is very simple topic that we are talking here. You just have to follow the specs. It's actually in the product manual, which is the guidelines, and it's also available in the website. So I'm going to just run through this very quickly because it's pretty simple to understand. Now, first of all, when you install the EmGuarde, make sure that you do not use any extension sockets. Now, doesn't mean that you cannot use, but you're not advisable to use because some people, they're complaining about the coverage area of at least 4-meter radius, okay? So to ensure that you are getting the full 4-meter radius coverage, make sure that you install the EmGuarde through a direct single power socket. So this will actually ensure you that your coverage will go wider rather than you sharing the power along the extension sockets, okay? Because the extension socket sometimes is going to produce a lot of interference and static, and this might also affect the coverage area of the EmGuarde. So single power socket is recommended. But when you have no choice, you need to go back to extension because some people, you do not need the EmGuarde to be at least 4 meters because some of you're putting the EmGuarde next to your workstation, which is only 1 meter away from you, okay? So an extension socket is fine in this case, but for those people who want an optimum coverage area of 4-meter radius, so a single power socket is advisable or suggested. Now, the second thing that you need to understand is that EmGuarde only accepts an output of 5 volt, okay, 5V, and up to between 2 ampere to 6 ampere. Okay, so this is actually the amperage stated by the developer. So this is the technical spec. And avoid using adapter, which is the USB adapter, providing multiple, you look at this, over here on the left, if you look at the cursor, all right? So this adapter is producing 9V, 12V, then go back to 4.5 and 5. So this is called multiple voltage output. So this is not advisable. Always select the adapter where it creates a single output of 5V and the amperage is between either 2 to 6. So this is suggested by the developer, all right? And try to avoid multiple USB outputs as well as your because when you have multiple outputs like this, it's going to generate some interference and static. So to make sure that it works fine, use a single USB output adapter to power the EmGuarde, following the specs, okay? Now, I know the EmGuarde is actually powered by a universal USB-C Type-C cable, but if you notice the cable on the left as compared to the one on the right, okay? Now, the cable on the left is actually a cable from a random phone. It's either Huawei, Oppo, Samsung, it's random phone. And if you notice, the Type-C metal tipping is slightly shorter than the provided cable from the EmGuarde box, which is the black one. If you notice, there is a slight difference here, okay? So although it's Type-C, but because of the buildup of the EmGuarde, okay, the circuit board of the EmGuarde is slightly deeper inside, from the body. It's actually to prevent shock proof and all that. So it's built slightly further in from the power input outlet. So there's reason why the EmGuarde cable it's recommended in this case, rather than using a random, in the market Type-C cable. So this is the reason. So sometimes your customer might be doing some mistakes. They use the regular phone Type-C cable. So when they try to power EmGuarde, how come there's no power? Because of this very minor, shortage. So sometimes you might be getting irregular power or no power supply at all to your EmGuarde. So make sure that always power the EmGuarde using the cable provided from the EmGuarde box. Okay. Now, Number 8, mastering the environment factor. So as you can see, EmGuarde is an innovative product. It is unique, and there are certain do and don'ts during the installation. And this environmental factor, it's one of the important topic for the agents who wants to do it as a business. So during your installation, these are some of the things to take note. Number 1, mirror. Okay, so when you install the EmGuarde in front of the mirror, so sometimes the mirror might be able to reflect certain percentages of the harmonics frequencies. Okay, and with that, some people, maybe you are experiencing maybe interference or maybe slight shorter coverage. So instead of 4 to 6 meters, some people only get it maybe 3.5 meter or 3 meter. So it's actually due to this reason. It's either from mirror or aluminum or metal frames like this. Okay, because aluminum and metal frames are originally frequencies reflector. They can reflect frequencies or they can absorb frequencies as well. So this might disturb the harmonics frequencies from the EmGuarde, which is trying to, suppress the noise around that area as well. So these are the things to avoid. Okay, easily accumulate loose electrons, leading to occurrence of electrostatic charges. So this might affect the coverage area. Okay, next. Now this is a classic example. Some people, your workstation looks like this. You got a lot of computers, your traders, and you feel that this place is packed with all this electromagnetic noise radiation disturbances. You want to put the EmGuarde here, okay? But for the matter of fact, when you install the EmGuarde right in the middle of this area, this is the example. Now it might be affected by the static as well, accumulated from all these wirings and tables as well, okay? So the correct way to do it is, okay, next example will show you a clearer picture. Like this. Oh, you got a lot of cables, wirings, and this place is actually pretty high electrostatic area. So instead of putting your EmGuarde on top of all this cable, this is what you should do. Okay, just move your EmGuarde away from this clumped area about 0.5 meters away to make sure that your EmGuarde can actually, work at the perfect 4-meter radius, which is at its optimum coverage area. Okay, so instead of putting EmGuarde in the middle of all these radiation sources, just move your EmGuarde away from this area so that your EmGuarde can work perfectly to its optimum coverage range. Okay. And avoid putting your EmGuarde directly on the floor, because sometimes flooring is going to accumulate some static charges as well. Okay, so the best way to put the EmGuarde is actually on top of the EmGuarde box. Okay, because the EmGuarde box is quite thick. So when you put it on the box, so that you just elevate the EmGuarde so that it can stay away from the floor, so that it won't be affected by static discharge and all that. Okay, cool. Now, next. Now, 2 or more activated EmGuarde may affect the detector's demo, which is the 9300 demo, within the 8 meters coverage area. So this is also about environmental. Now, let's take a look at the points. Now, reasons. 2 or more activated EmGuarde within the same environment, 8 meters diameter, will affect 9300 due to interference. Okay, so the correct way to avoid this is to activate the EmGuarde one at a time during your demonstration, so that you can get the full perfect coverage measurement or the correct measurement from each EmGuarde one by one. Just imagine that you have 3 EmGuardes within 8-meter coverage area, okay, and you turn on all these EmGuardes simultaneously. You wouldn't have gotten, to know that this EmGuarde number 1 is able to cover up to which range. So it's wrong to actually verify the coverage area. So to do it properly, you have to turn on the EmGuarde one by one, okay, so that you can actually test out each EmGuarde's optimum range, okay? And please note that 2 or more EmGuardes in the same environment will not affect the EmGuarde's function, okay? It only affects the sensitive equipment, which is the radiation detector, but it will not affect the EmGuarde's function in this case, as verified by the SDR testing, which is the software testing by the lab, okay? All right. Now, I've came to the conclusion of today's product training. It took about an hour plus, okay? Now, number 9 is very important because number 9 is leveraging on the marketing resources. And currently, what we have built for you is, so these are actually all the links and all the QR codes where you can scan in. The first one is the EmGuarde Telegram channel, where we'll be posting all the related marketing materials like the PowerPoints, and also some of the new events, the upcoming training events via this Telegram channel. So please tap on these marketing resources, which is the channel. Second one is EmGuarde.com. And in EmGuarde.com, we'll be giving away a lot of like videos about how it works, you know, in the future. At the same time, we have got FAQ buttons right below in EmGuarde.com so that you can just go back there and revisit some of the points, okay? And I've got not to miss out the EmGuarde library. This is a newly developed library link where we uses Google Drive to upload those huge presentation PPT files as well, okay? So these three are the marketing resources that we prepared for the distributors to ease your duplication process. When you have new downlines joining you in the business, they can tap on these resources and download the related PowerPoint slides and also informations and events, updates, and all that. Okay. All right, good. So now in this case, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone here. So contact your local distributors today to know more about EmGuarde. And slogan here as stated, change your environment, change your life. Now, don't get me wrong, we have been seeing a lot of questions from the chat box. Okay, it's going a lot, but because today there is more than 150 of you, and it's not possible for us to get all of the questions one by one. So don't worry, we will be saving all your questions, okay, in the chat box, and we'll be responding to you one by one in a Word format, and we will be reposting all the answers for your questions in one of the resources channel. It's either from the Google link or the Telegram channel. So you'll be getting all your answers, you know, from your questions after today's meeting. All right, so just put your questions in the chat box, and my team here will be downloading the chat messages and will be addressing your questions one by one. Okay, so with this, I thank you all for your attention. I know it's a long training on all this technical stuff. I dislike it as well, but in this journey, we got no choice but to get more technical, because with this knowledge, it is there to empower you to have a better understanding and a better answer or marketing pitch to your prospects in the near future. Okay, now I'm going to hand this session over to